One of the important things I've always felt as a facilitator is to help people relax in the training sessions, and humor is a good way of doing that, and a self-deprecating humor is probably the most effective humor. And one of the things that I commonly do, and I occasionally do this in a leadership skills workshop depending on the audience, but oftentimes do it in a training class, is if I'm flip charting things and I'm gathering ideas or input, and someone gives me a good 3 or 4 syllable word that might be questionable how to spell it, I will write the first few letters on the flip chart, and then I'll kind of turn my head like I'm looking at them, and then I just go zoop, and I finish with a straight line. And I give them a sheepish look, and I turn around and I said, you know, for those of you who are new, when you see that, that just means I'm not sure how to spell this. And I just want to remind you, you don't have to know how to spell to be in our training classes, and I don't have to know how to spell in order to do this job. So relax. And that's a little piece of humor, but it's especially good for I've done a lot of work with construction companies and what people would call factory workers and blue-collar people who work their way up. I have great admiration for these people because I've worked with folks like that for many years. And I want them to feel comfortable. And even though they maybe did not like school when they went, and the first time they show up for training classes, they're thinking, oh boy, this is going to be like school. And it's our job as a professional facilitator to let them know it's not. One of the things that I do that I think puts people at ease is I always ask for volunteers. And I say, well, who's got an idea on that? And of course, we always use body language. I didn't learn to use body language. Start over with that. It's very important to use body language while you're facilitating. And if you want a positive response, you do this. If you want a yes, you know, we do the head nod. If we want a no, we've got to use overt body gestures in order to signal our audience what we're expecting. Because sometimes people don't know, and they don't want to be put in an embarrassing situation. Now, one of the things I commonly do that some people differ in their opinion of is I ask for volunteers rather than calling on individuals. Now, I like to get people as table leaders, and every training session I run, I always use the point plus system, which is really simple. I say, okay, we're going to use my favorite method of picking a table leader. Would everybody please point at the ceiling? On the count of 1, 2, 3, I want you to point at the person at your table you'd like to lead this sharing of ideas or this discussion or this exercise. 1, 2, 3, cha-ching! And I always ask them, who got nailed? I mean, who got selected? And I always say, the reminder is, you can either stay the discussion leader, that's my cat rubbing her neck on the camera pod, you know, or you can find the person most responsible for sticking you with this and let them lead the discussion. So that's worked really well for me.